All right. Hello, hello. Welcome to day 2 of week 6. We're going to be wrapping up module 9, lesson 3, supply and demand today and stuff. So go ahead and get your worksheet open, the notebook open and stuff. So remember, you can find that on the first tab of 9.3 in Canvas. So please go ahead and get that open. While I'm waiting for you to get that open, a couple of things I just want to review. ACT testing. Now, most of you probably took this last year. So if you took it last year and you are happy with your score, then you can tune me out. If you, did not take it, then you need to register to take it because ACT testing is required to graduate in the state of Nevada. Okay, it's a requirement, not just CCSD, like in the state. Or if you took it and you want to get a better score, to retake it, then for either one of those reasons, you haven't taken it and you need to take it for graduation, or you want to retake it to get a better score, then please go ahead. The announcement, that's a good question if you have to pay to retake it. I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so, but let me find out. That I don't know for sure. Let me write that down. Okay. So what I would do is go ahead and get registered, and then let me find out, because you could always back out. Okay, but what there is they're starting testing at the end of February, and it's open for like a week. And so it's kind of first come, first serve for who signs up for which date. So if you have a particular day that you prefer, then you want to get signed up. Okay, because the school, it's not on one day. There's a week that they're doing the testing, and then you pick which day works best for you, but you have to go down to the NVLA building. Okay, does that make sense? And stuff. So, okay. So let me know if you have any other questions. I'll see if I can find out if you have to pay. You could always email your counselor too, that they would possibly know. And stuff, but there's the link to register. There's a PowerPoint with like the do's and the don'ts of testing day. And then if you want to do any practice, there's a link to the practice. There's practice tests on the ACT site. Okay. So just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. All right, let's go to modules. Oh, and then really quick, I am going to be out on Friday. So I have posted the Friday to do announcement, and I also have an email that'll be going out. So please go ahead and make sure that you're checking this, getting your attendance done, what's due. These are all due on Monday, but we're finishing them up in class today. The course arc, the notebook will finish in class today, and then I'll give you that review sheet, right, that you then would need to take the quiz. Shows you what's past due. Module 9, lesson 2 is closing on Monday. Okay, so the course arc, the quiz, and the EverFi. Those are all 3 closing. So you need to make sure that you get those in ASAP, especially that EverFi. That is summative. All right. So if you submitted it, got a 0, that means you need to resubmit it because your screenshot wasn't correct. And we went over that last period, right? So if you need to see what that screenshot looks like, make sure that you go, and I'm not going to go over it again, but make sure you go to that example screenshot right there. Okay. All right. Any questions on what's due or anything like that? I'll be back Monday. So if you need something or need to come to small group, then come see me on Monday. All right. Let's go to module 9, lesson 3. All right. So you can get the notebook right there. If you haven't already, go ahead and get that open. We started this on Tuesday. So if you missed that class, remember, then you go to the lesson and recording page. So it would be week 6, and you go to that first video and you can watch the first part of the course arc and notebook, and we're going to do the second half today. All right. So we're going to go to, I'm not going to reopen the notebook since we already did that on Tuesday. If you need to, go ahead and get that open. We're going to go to the course arc tab, and we're going to launch that. So go ahead and go there and get that launched. And let me know when you have the course arc and the notebook open. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you have that open. So Angel, all those responses are in the video from last week, and I even pinned them, so you should be able to see them. Okay. So if you need that, then just go back to the video and you can pull it from like the last 5 minutes of the video, right? Because I think we went like almost right up to the end. We were a little rushed. Okay. No, I don't want it, because the thing is that you got to get them when you're in class. Okay. So yeah, so that the video is there, so it's available. So every student needs to, if they need something, then they can go back and they can get them from the video. So it is provided, just students have to go and get that. All right. Sorry, I just want to be consistent and stuff, because that's fair, because if someone else misses, then I got to do it for them. And then it just turns into where it's available in the video. Okay. Awesome. All right. So we left off on Tuesday. Okay. We talked about the essential question, how do we affect the economy? We went over the key vocab words. We did the matching, right, to register that in the course arc. Okay. We talked about demand. So what is demand and why supply and demand, and how demand has a big impact on price and quantity. Okay. Then we talked about the comparison of substitution and income. Sometimes when the cost of things go up, right, but our income remains the same, it's like taking a pay cut. So therefore, sometimes we substitute. So we talked about maybe you used to go buy a burritos, now you go buy a pizza because it's cheaper. Or maybe I talked about the gas in the house, right, for heat, and I just turned down the thermostat because I'm trying to save money because the expense went up. So sometimes we have to make adjustments even if it's not the plan, because of demand or prices, okay? And especially if our income remains the same. All right, so we're gonna jump back over into the course arc. So this is where we left off. We talked about this graph, all right? So really quick, when demand goes up, what happens to price? When demand goes up, what happens to price? When demand goes up, yes, it goes up. Exactly. It goes up. So if there's high demand and there's low supply, then that price goes up. Okay. If there's low demand, a lot of supply, then the price goes down, right? So when demand goes up, but there's not a lot of supply, then the seller, right, whoever has that item that everyone's demanding can, so let's say it's some special edition sneaker or something like that, or an album or something, right? And there's only so many that they're selling. They can jack up the price, like the Stanleys. Yes. Okay. The Stanleys, especially when they do like special colors or something like that. And then all the crazy moms, you know, stampede into Target and everybody thinks like, what's the riot for? It's the Stanley Cups, you know. He's freaking out over a silly Stanley Cup, but we've seen it happen, right? People lose their mind and they charge ridiculous prices, and it's no different than some of the other ones, or let's be honest, just some of the other brands, but that little stamp and maybe a certain color, right? And then people go crazy for it and are willing to pay these outlandish prices. Exactly. Okay. So prices go up. Great example. Had a good example right in front of me and I didn't take it. All right. Let's review really quick just what supply and demand is. I got a quick just video clip. All right. And then we're going to jump right back into our question. Like I said, we should be able to finish early today. All right.
Wix is your platform to perform on.
Let's assume you live in a small town where nobody sells bananas. In other words, zero supply. Now, let's also assume that the people who live there would love to eat bananas. In other words, there's a decent demand for bananas. As we can see, there's currently an imbalance. People want bananas, but there are no sellers. Peter understands this and starts selling bananas. At the beginning, his profits will be huge because lots of people want bananas and he's the only one who has them. As time passes, however, Sarah will notice how well Peter is doing and start selling bananas herself. This increases the supply of bananas and diminishes Peter's profit potential. The more people start selling bananas, the more supply there will be. If too many people end up selling bananas, but the demand doesn't increase as well, there will be too much supply and some of them will go out of business. Eventually, some kind of a balance tends to be reached.
Okay, so just a good
$1 billion in revenue, but I think a lot of people are focused on that.
Okay, so the idea is, yes, when there's not a lot of supply, but there's high demand, prices go up. When the supply then meets the demand, what it does is it diminishes the demand, right? Because now people have choices and it drives that price down. So the goal is to find some kind of middle ground, right? Where people can make a decent profit, but you don't have too much supply too many options, because then that drives the price down for everybody. Okay. Over winter break, I went on a cruise and we stopped in like some of the Mexican ports and stuff. So we stopped in like Puerto Vallarta, Cabo, and some of those kind of ports. And what I noticed in some of the shopping centers, right, is that all like every other or every third stand, like in these, you know, kind of shopping squares and centers, have had the same things, right? And so it would drive the price down for the vendors, the people selling, right? Because you can get it at 4 or 5 other stands. And so it drives the price down because it's too available, if that makes sense, like certain, you know, like little trinkets and things like that. So in the same way, that's how the market works. All right, let's jump back over into Canvas. All right, so we finished this. We talked about fuel efficiency. We did the Indiana Jones example. All right, so let's move on to the demand schedule, which I believe is the question that we're on. Yes, the demand schedule. Okay, so it says, look at figure, in question number 5, look at figure 1. How are individuals and market demands schedules similar? How are they different? So we need to look at how are they similar in the figure and how are they different with the individual and market demands. All right, so let's take a look. So we have individual demands, and we have, let's see if it's going to let me zoom in a little bit. Nope, it's not going to let me zoom in. All right, so we have individual demand schedule and we have market demand schedule. Okay, so individual demand, you can see that as the price of the pizza changes, the quantity demanded. So you're trying to find that kind of, you know, sweet spot, right, where you can make a decent profit but also have a reasonable supply. So looking at the individual, the blue, what would you say is the sweet spot? What would be the sweet spot for price and demand? Because look at $1 a slice, 5 pieces. Is that really worth your time? We're at $2 a slice. That's, $2 a slice, that's 4. So think about that. 1 times 5, that's 5. 2 times 4, that's $8. Okay. 3 times 3, $3 a slice at 3 slices, $9. And then you see from there. So where's the sweet spot where you're making the most profit with decent demand? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or $6 a slice? And you figure that out by just doing the math, timesing the price by the demand. So which one is the best? $4 a slice, the demand is 2, that's $8. $5 a slice, 1, $5. So which one gives you the highest potential profit? Well, you have to also look at demand. To look at demand, quantity demanded. So at $6 a slice, there's 0 demand. So that's 0, right? So looking at this, doing the math, who can figure it out? 1 times at $1 a slice, 5 slices, that's $5, right? Good, Alicia. Yes, $3 a slice, right? Because at $3 a slice with 3 slices, that's $9. So that's the least quantity at the highest rate, right? And so you're trying to maximize both, okay? Where sometimes if you take the price too high, the demand goes so low that you lose your profit, right? So you're trying to find, again, that sweet spot of demand and profit. Okay, so $3 at $3 a slice, the quantity demand, that seems to be like kind of a sweet spot. Market schedule. Okay, so looking at quantity like overall. So this was individual, but market quantity. Let's see if it pairs with that. Okay, at let's see, at $1 a slice, the demand is 300. So that's $300. At $2 a slice, 250. So that's $500. At $3 a slice, 200 slices is the demand. That's $600. At $4 a slice, 150. What is that? Is that 600 also? 3 times 4 is 600. And then at $5 a slice, 100. So it's either going to be 3 or 4. So which would be better? $3 a slice or $4 a slice? You're getting the same 600, but you notice that there's 50. At $3 a slice, it's 200 quantity. At $4 a slice, it's 150 quantity. So the best option would be actually $4 a slice, because you actually you make less pizza. Do you see what I mean? Same pricing come out, but 50 slices less. So think how many less pizzas, how much less supply. So you actually are going to make more profit from that. All right. So let's go back over into Canvas. All right. So understanding demand. To have demand for goods, you must be willing and able to pay. In other words, demand means that if you want the goods, you have to be able to afford it. So it's trying to find this balance of the right price with a reasonable demand. All All right. So if we go over into what is similar. So what's similar is when pizza is only $1 a slice, okay? And stuff at 5 slices in the same way, $1 for overall 300 slices. At this price, as the price goes up, the demand for the number of slices and the quantity of people that want the slices goes down. So it's a similarity between the two charts. All right, let's look at the difference. So the difference between the market schedule and individual schedule is that the market schedule, as the price goes up and the demand goes down, but the profit for $1 for 30 is the same as $6 for 50. The individual demand of $1 for 5 slices was wanted at $6. The demand is 0 for a loss of profit. This only represents one person, so hard to judge. The individual demand is the true change. All right, so I'll give you a minute to get that. We're gonna go back over into Canvas, keep going down. So it says in the above schedule, how many pizzas does the market demand at $3 a slice? So at $3 a slice, it demands 200. Okay, so we're gonna select 200 and submit it. Very good. All right, we have another question for this page, the demand schedule, okay? Reading the section, understanding demand and the market demand schedule, which do you think would be most important to the owner of the business? Okay, so the market demand schedule would be more important to the owner of the business. This helps them predict how many pizzas they would need to make on a given day to make sure they are supplied. Also helps them to make sure they don't overproduce and have extra waste. It helps them with employment also for how busy they are, that they're staffing appropriately. Goal is to maximize profit. So the individual one can be a little bit misleading, whereas the larger, so when we're looking at this, we're looking at this graph right here. As a business owner, which side of the graph is going to be more helpful? And the answer would be the market demand schedule, right? Because you want to look at the bigger picture of where am I going to sell the most pizza at the best price? Okay. And then to staff to maximize my profits and also make sure I'm not wasting product, right? Because if you make a bunch of pizza and people don't come, then that can be rough. Okay. So these were number 5. So I'll pin those. And then this one is number 6. So let's go back over to number 6. Okay. So the market demand schedule would be more helpful than the individual to the owner, as we just stated. All right, so I'm going to pin that there. Go ahead and use that in number 6. After that, we're going to go to the next one, which is the demand graph. So in Course Arc, we're going to click Next. And that's going to be number 7 and number 8. So we're going to continue with those. Okay, give me a thumbs up when you're good. You're ready to move on to the demand graph. Ready to do number 7 and 8. If you're watching this back and you need to pull a response like that, you can always pause the video, right? You can pause the video, zoom in or something like that, and pull it that way. Obviously, if you're in class, then pulling it from the chat can be helpful. Okay, so let's look at the demand graph, okay? So how do economists create a demand curve? All right, don't worry, this is not something we're gonna do. This is a little bit more advanced, but we're just gonna kind of try to get a general understanding of how they do this. So when they transfer numbers from a demand schedule to a graph, okay, they always label the axes with the lower prices at the bottom and the highest prices at the top. So you can see using the individual curves, they're taking the same graph we were looking at, the table with numbers, and now they're putting it on an actual graph, okay? So you can see here, this is the individual, okay? So price per slice, number of slices, and then you can see here in the market demand curve, again, price per slice, and then quantity per day, all right? So taking the same things, just graphing it out so you can get that vision of what it's looking like, all right? So please note about the fact that Ashley's demand curve show of number 2, the first graph shows the relationship between the price of goods and the quantity that Ashley will purchase. The second curve demonstrates, again, the market demand, all right? and stuff. So let's go down here. Checking for understanding. To check your understanding and the mastery of the content in this section, collect the correct answer for the given. Using the above graph, how much pizza does Ashley demand at $5 a slice? Okay, so at $5 a slice, so looking up here at Ashley's demand curve, $5 a slice, that's going to be 1 slice per day. Okay, so 1 slice per day. All right, let's jump over into our questions. All right, and it says, so read the first paragraph under the demand graph. What do you think the phrase graph representation means? So it is a visual of the numbers and components that help the individual and business have more meaning in the numbers than we are seeing. It represents figures, but when a graph has form, it has more impact due to the visual effect of the vertical and horizontal axis and lines showing change. So some people respond fine with numbers, but for some people, having that visual representation can be really helpful. So it's number 7, can be really helpful for understanding where finding the right production and the right price are, so that supply and demand, you're maximizing, you're having a reasonable supply, but you're meeting the demand at the best price to maximize. Because at the end of the day, the whole goal, right, is to maximize profits, right? To maximize profits and stuff with the right amount of effort. Exactly. So say some people are very visual. So looking at that same graph, right, this might be easier for you to interpret. I am a numbers person, so the way that was graphed out worked for me, but also a graph is just really helpful sometimes, especially if there's an understanding barrier or something like that. A graph can be really helpful as well in doing that. So it's just another way of kind of representing that. All right, let's move on to the second part. Complete this table based on what you have read in the lesson, okay? So y'all have the graph in there, right? You're just missing the answers part. I'm just trying to remember what the blank looks like. You have like the law of demand and stuff. Okay, yes. Okay, so you do have that. Okay, so kind of looking at circumstances, we're kind of taking the law of demand and we're taking what we talked about basically on this visual aid, okay, that we pulled from our first demand page, okay, and we're answering the question of the trends and trying to understand if we understand the sways of the market, all right? So these I'm not going to copy and paste in, but I will go through them with you, okay? So we're going to take the concept that we're learning here that we reviewed at the beginning that we went over yesterday, okay? And then we're going to fill in our graph. You are going to need this. So I'll go through each one with you, but I'm not going to copy and paste it in. You're going to have to type it in your graph, okay? So you could type it in your graph as we go through, okay? So law of demand. So look at the law of demand. As the price of goods goes down, the demand goes up. Okay, so usually as the cheaper something gets, usually the demand will go up. You'll sell more, right? And we saw that with the pizza, right? When did they sell the most slices? At the cheapest price. Now, that doesn't mean that that was the best profit, but that is the law of, as prices go down, usually more people will buy. As the price of goods goes up, usually the demand goes down. So the more expensive something got, and you could see that on the pizza example, right? So you could see it here, okay? As demand, as the price goes up, the slices per day goes down. As the price goes down, right, to $1, the number of slices, same with the market curve. So this would be like overall, this would be just one example. But in both cases, as the price gets cheaper, demand gets greater. As the price goes up, demand shrinks, okay? So you can see it as they alter one another. Okay. Substitution effect. So as the price of goods goes down, what happens to substitution? There's less substitution. When things are reasonably priced, right, I can buy what I want. It's when the price of that gets too high, right, that I then have to substitute. So usually as the price of an item comes down, there's less substitution. Think about it at the grocery store. We've all been there, right? Do we buy the off-brand or the brand, right? It often comes down to price. Yes, Tamia, go ahead.
Is it okay to just write it in like an organized way, or do we have to use the chart?
Do you not have the chart?
I think I accidentally deleted mine. Hold on, I think I can fix it.
So what you can do is either go back to it or go reopen another, like go back into, if that happens,
Just open up a different one, then
Yeah,
transfer.
do you see what I mean? Just and then just copy and paste it in, so you don't have to redo your whole thing. But you could
Okay.
just open a new. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So any of you ever been in the grocery store in the debate over which brand is something you buy? Okay, I'm that way with Ranch. I like Hidden Valley. There is a difference in the taste. And if you say differently, I'm going to argue with you till I'm blue in the face. If there's a difference. So I am willing to pay, to an extent, the higher price because it's always more expensive than the like store brand, right? Anybody, what's your thing that like you have to buy like the brand thing because it tastes better than the generic? Anybody? Mine's Ranch. Anything? I feel like cheese is that way too. Like Tillamook cheese tastes different than Fruity Pebbles. Oh, that's a good one. Mine's are, chips. Okay, like certain kinds of chips. So you guys get what I'm saying, right? Okay, Wishbone. I can do that one sometimes. I just love the Hidden Valley Ranch. I just love it, right? So you guys know what I'm saying, right? But sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes that Hidden Valley is so expensive. I'm like, no. And so I'll find the cheapest one I can find. Like if I'm not going to get what I want, then I just buy the cheapest one I can. And then the whole 2 weeks we have it, I'm like, I don't like this ranch until we run out and I can buy more ranch. We go through a lot of ranch in our house, especially with young kids, right? Every kid likes ranch or ketchup, right? With their, I don't know, things they're eating and stuff. So you guys get what I'm saying, right? So sometimes I substitute. The higher the price, so same thing, as the price of that item goes up, there's more substitution. So if Hidden Valley's on sale, I'm like, I don't care if it's 50 cents more, I'm buying it, right? That's what I mean. Sometimes the off brands, no, okay? So when you can get the Fruity Pebbles on sale, right? Then it's like, I'll get it. But let's be honest, sometimes the name brand is like twice the price of the off brand, right? So do you ever find yourself like, we're just going to buy the off brand, you know? I don't know about you, for you, it comes down to price. Like if there's a slight price difference, I'll pay the extra. But if it's super expensive, I'm like, no, like that could be, I start thinking of the other things I could buy. Okay, income effect. So as the price of goods go down, it appears to have more money because I can buy more quantity, right? So we've talked about this a little bit. Income effect can also lead to substitution or a lack of substitution, all right? When things are cheaper, my money goes further, right? When I have all those coupons or things are really good priced. It's like when I shop at Winco or at Walmart for my groceries, I definitely can get more groceries. If I go to Albertsons or to Smith's or something like that, I absolutely get Target. I get less groceries. Why? Because it's more expensive, right? So when I get cheaper items, it feels like I have more money. Fair? Anybody else? Like you notice the difference when you shop at different places, or maybe your parents, you know what I mean? They notice a difference when they shop at one store. Yeah, you know, so I try not to go to Albertsons, but sometimes I have to because it's just like right there and I only need a few items. But I swear every time I'm in there, I'm like, Winco is inconvenient for me, but when I can get there, I save a lot of money. I find that too. Like the places that are cheaper are really inconvenient, but I save more money. Yes. Right? Yes, totally. So in the same breath as the price of items goes up for income effect, more doesn't go as far, so it feels as though your income has decreased. Do I have a favorite off-brand item? I don't know. That's a good question. I probably like anything Costco, like Kirkland usually tends to be pretty like well priced. And I swear like I've never had anything Kirkland that was bad. So probably that. Most things I don't really care. I'm not super picky. Cereal, my kids don't like, they don't like the off brands. So I tend to buy lemon cookies. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes you find like the one good thing or something. Yeah. Ladybug, go ahead.
Oh, okay, so I wanted to say I would hate to break your feelings, but a lot of the off-brand products are made in the same facilities
That is
as
true.
the
That is
main
true.
products. So the difference is they use cheaper items or like take away some things to make
So that does change the taste.
I mean, in a way,
This is my point. I agree
do
with
use
you.
the same things, just cheaper products.
I agree with you that most of the time, probably 90% of the time, right? It's basically the same thing. But there are some things that taste different, and Hidden Valley is one of them, and you will not convince me otherwise.
So you don't like Wingstop Ranch?
I'll eat it. Okay, like anybody, certain restaurants, I like McDonald's ranch and I love Chick-fil-A ranch. Wendy's ranch, Burger King's ranch, disgusting. Like I can't eat it. Jack in the Box's ranch, ew. Like there is a difference. I swear there's a difference. So whenever I go to Chick-fil-A, I'm like, can I get extra ranch so I can like stockpile them in my pantry for the weeks I buy the off-brand ranch? And so I give my kids the off-brand ranch and I sit over there and eat my Chick-fil-A ranch. Yes, I'm that mom. I'm so mean. I know. I'm that mom. They're like, we want that ranch. I'm like, no, you get your off-brand ranch. I'm over here. Nobody's parent does that. I guess I'm a bad parent.
I think that's just the Leo in you, but honestly, no, my mom doesn't do it, but I do it to other people.
Yeah, there you go.
I have something better, but I also have the offer, and I'd be like, no, you can get the
My
offer.
kids are also younger though. Like my kids are like
Yeah.
7 and 9. So they
Unless
don't.
it's like, unless the off-brand is like way better than the original, like the Lays at 7-Eleven are like better than the Lays at like the regular company Lays. So I'd rather give somebody the regular company Lays that have less flavor versus the off-brand Lays.
That's what I'm saying. You guys get what I'm saying. Alicia, your mom does it with cheese. What's her cheese? Like what's the brand that she like keeps for herself? I love buying like Gouda, like really good Gouda cheese. My kids don't even like it anyways, but I like save it for myself. Like on the side, I'll like munch on it while I'm making dinner. My kids are like, ooh, what you got there? I'm like, nothing. Go away. Go away.
Oh, now I think
Good
about
in
it.
there.
I'm that way with cheesecake too. Like I don't like all
Yep.
cheesecake company brands.
It's a thick shredded cheese. Yum. I love like a good cheese. The thick shredded. I'm gonna bet money. So Tillamook has, when you buy like grated cheese, Tillamook has the best grated cheese. They have like this thicker grated cheese. It is so good. But it's like double the price of the regular bags of grated cheese. So I'll buy one bag of that and I'll save it for, yes, I do that too, actually. The Tillamook one is so good, but it's so expensive. It's so expensive. Y'all will see. Okay. You start grocery shopping and stuff and you'll see like certain things. And if your kids don't know the difference, cheesecake, there's a lot of things. There's differences. My little one, she loves waffles. So when I buy the like Eggo waffles, she likes those. And I bought an off-brand, I think a week or two ago, and I heard about it all week. I don't like these. These taste different. I don't like these. So, you know, what can you do? All right. So, but sometimes you have to make those substitutions. All right, let's watch this quick video. We only have one more question we got to do. And like I said, we're going to wrap up early today. All right.
You didn't know about me though. I love blueberries. Blueberry muffins, blueberry pie, blueberry scones, anything blueberry. But what does this have to do with economics? So, I go to the grocery store to buy blueberries. The lower the price, the more I'm inclined to buy, maybe 2 boxes instead of 1. That's the law of demand. The lower the price, the more you demand. Now, let's say I'm a farmer and I grow and sell blueberries. Well, for a seller, it's the opposite. The higher the price, the more blueberries you want to supply and sell, because the more money you can make. That's the law of supply. The higher the price, the more you supply. Now, where these two lines intersect is our equilibrium price, or market price. That's the price I pay to buy my delicious blueberries.
AKA the sweet spot.
So far, simple, right? But here's where it gets really interesting. What if there's a new report that shows that blueberries are even better for your health than you thought? Now at the same price, we want more blueberries, so the demand has gone up. Now the entire curve shifts to the right because at any price, people want more blueberries than before. And what if really bad weather destroys some of the blueberry crop? Now, at every price, farmers will supply less, and the entire curve shifts to the left, and the equilibrium price increases. So now, only the people who can afford really expensive blueberries buy them. The rest of us switch to grapes.
And that is true. Sometimes I end up switching, like we said, getting the off-brand, or if there's a certain fruit I'm looking for, certain seeds. Like right now, I'm not buying strawberries. I feel like they don't taste that good and they're just way too expensive. So sometimes like if fruits are out of season or things like that, you know, the price goes up and they don't even taste that good. So sometimes make adjustments there. All right, let's go to the next page. Okay. So the effect of price on supply. So the effectiveness of capitalism and stuff. So now suppose that a family serves up and spends $400 on a physical piece of capital, a dishwasher. Using the dishwasher, it only takes one family member a mere 15 minutes after each meal to stack all the dishes, and another family member 15 minutes at the end of the day to empty it and put them all away, for a total of 1 hour. A chore that used to require 21 hours a week to complete now only takes 7 hours if you had to, do it by hand, dry, put away. Okay. So this example shows a typical benefit using capital. Extra time, the family saving 14 hours a week. All right. More knowledge by learning more to use the dishwasher. Family members learn more about household appliances. Apply that knowledge to washing machines, dryers, other appliances. So realizing how appliances save us time. Washing clothes, that's a great example, right? If we were doing it, by hand and hang them to dry, and then you got to starch them, because when you hang them to dry, they get all stiff and you have to starch and iron hours and hours and hours, where now it's so fast to do laundry. More productivity with extra time and knowledge. So family members can use their resources and labor toward other things to make the benefit of the quality of life better. All resources are scarce. So this is what drives the price up, why some appliances or some items are more expensive than others. Okay. And stuff. So let's take a look at number 9. All right. The effects of price on supply. Read the section law of supply and write the state of law, and then state the law of supply in your own words. All right. So law of supply. Okay, it's going to be this one. So suppliers follow the law of supply. Supply is the amount of, it's right here in the middle of the page, okay? So supply is the amount of good or services that is available. How do producers decide how much to supply? According to the law of supply, producers offer more of a good or service at its price increase and less as the price falls. Economists use the term quantity supplied to describe how much of a good or service a producer is willing and able to sell at a specific price. A producer may also be called a supplier, a company, or an owner, whoever supplies the product to market. The law of supply develops from the choice of both current and new producers of a good or service. As the price rises, existing firms will produce more in order to earn additional revenue. As prices increase, it also is an incentive for new firms to enter the market to earn their own profit. If the price of the goods or services falls, some firms will produce less and others might drop out of the market. These two movements, individual firms changing their level of production and firm entering or exiting the market, combine to create the law of supply. All right, so putting that in our own words, okay? The law of supply is about the choice made by current and potential new producers. As the prices rise, they can either produce more or new firms can join the market. As prices fall, they can produce less and or leave the market. Number 9. All right, and then I'll pin that. So go ahead and put that in your number 9. Did I pin the other ones that I did? Yes. Okay. Obviously, I didn't pin number 8 because we just filled that out together. All right, so I'll give you a second to do that. Okay, we're going to go to the supply schedule page. I feel like there's one more multiple choice question. All right, so there's one more multiple choice question we need to do so that we can get 100% on our course arc. Okay, so supply schedule. So looking at the individual supply schedule, same kind of thing. So at $1 a slice, supplied 100 at $2 a slice, 150 at $3 a slice. So again, trying to find that maximum of the right price and production to maximize profits. Okay. What would you expect from this pizzeria if the price of pizza slices rose to $7 a slice? Okay, so based at this, we're seeing as the prices increase, what happened? The demand, the individual demand increases, so the supply increases. So we see this overall. So we would expect then that if they had another slot at $7, that it would increase the number of slices as well, because that's the trend that they're showing on their chart. All right, I believe that's the last question. Let's just double check. That is the last question. Okay, so we should be done with the course arc. Okay, so if you weren't with us the first day, make sure you go back and you do the vocab page right here and the learn demand. There was a question on there. Okay, we did those day 1, and then we did the rest of the questions today. Let's jump back over to our notebook. All right, go ahead for number 10 and write do not need to complete, and number 11, do not need to complete. Like I said, I shortened the lesson today. It was getting a little repetitive, a little bit much. Okay. Can we celebrate? Yay! That's not bad. Yes, you can pin, it has to be your own, but yes, you can pin comments and stuff. So anytime I'm copying and pasting, isn't that nice? So anytime I put a response in the chat or something like that, I'm just pinning it and that helps. So it's nice so that if someone comes in late or if someone bounces out, comes back in or something like that, then they can still find the response, which is really nice. Yes, Tamia.
So for 10 and 11, do we just write do not need to complete, or do we completely
No, you can just put do not need to complete, okay? They need to add a gift. I agree. They need to add gift features, or at least more of like the Google emojis, you know what I mean? Like more faces and stuff. I feel like we all would like that. I know, class would be way more fun. I know, we need more.
Because when you said can we celebrate, I was imagining what if we was able to put gifts of like dance.
I
like,
know,
dance,
right?
like,
That would be
cartoons or
fun,
something.
right? To put different
Yeah.
dances. I know.
They keep adding like all these weird unnecessary features. I'm like, add a GIF feature for once. They add stuff like, oh, now you could add a link to it. And it's like, okay, we been could do that.
Yes.
Or now you can like somebody else comment. And it's like, okay, that's cute. But now we want a GIF feature where we can actually show our emotions.
I agree. Okay, we finished the course arc, so that should be 100%. Your notebook should be done 100%. If you missed anything from yesterday, then you can go back in the video. And then we're going to do about 20-minute study session here. It's because I can't let you go this early. So if you missed something from yesterday, you could go back while we're sitting in here and chilling, and you could check out yesterday's video and get anything you're missing. And then here really quick is the review sheet for 9.3. For the quiz, because that is the third part. There's 3 things this week: the course arc, the notebook, and then the quiz. Okay, so here's the review sheet for that. So go ahead and click on this. Remember, you can also find this on the lesson and recording page. Okay, so remember, you can always find these on the lesson and recording page for each week. Okay, so like here's 9.3. It's even labeled. There's the review sheet. I just uploaded next week's, and you'll find 9.4 review sheet on there. Okay, so you can always find them on the corresponding week. Okay. All right. Did that open for everybody? Did it open okay? Can you give me a thumbs up if it opened? Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Let me find. Oh wait. Here we are. Here's our review sheet. Okay, so you can see I just pulled the vocab words that they did the matching with. Okay, each section I pull a summary from. I pull what I think are important, like graphs or things like that help you to interpret or to understand the topic that's being covered. I also take the multiple choice questions, right, that we answered. So you can see that one right here, and I highlight them, the response, because sometimes those will pop up on the test. Okay, sometimes those will pop up on the test. So this is a good way to like review. And you are welcome to use this when you are taking the exam, right? Okay. If you want to make adjustments to it, then you go to File, Make a Copy, and that way you can get on and you can actually edit it. You can make adjustments and things like that. Okay. So we continued with our learning intention of learning more about the law of demand, the law of supply, and explaining how that impacts price. And what is demanded and what is supplied. We looked at substitution, we looked at income effect, and especially just, again, seeing it either in a chart form or in graph form. It can be the same data, but maybe one or the other, depending on what kind of learner you are, like we talked about, can have a really big impact. Okay, so all right, I gave you your review sheet. You get 3 attempts. All right, all 3 of these are technically due on Monday the 12th. But again, I would get these in. Course arc should be done. Notebook, get it submitted now, okay? Because you've got some extra time in class today. And then review for that quiz. Take that quiz by Friday. All right, and those quizzes don't take long, right? 10, 15 minutes. They really don't take long. All right. So we have a few minutes now. So I'm going to give you about 20 minutes. Where you can make sure that your notebook is submitted. You could review. If you are missing something, if you are missing an EverFi, the economy, remember 9.2 is closing on Monday. So if you're missing the 9.2 notebook, the quiz, or the EverFi, the economy, take these 20 minutes and get that in. I've really been encouraging students, like, when you get to progress grades and stuff, using these little pockets of time can make a big difference in just catching up in class, or even just getting one assignment in, makes a difference. Every single assignment matters. If you're going to focus on a pass to assignment, the zombie project is obviously worth a lot of points. The EverFi, the economy, that is worth a lot of points. The first EverFi has closed, the marketplace. That will not be reopening. That was already open double the time. But EverFi, the economy, if you haven't gotten that in, that's the next summative that will close, and it's worth quite a few points. Okay. No, it should. So the 9.2 quiz, EverFi, and the course ARC are all open till Monday the 12th. Yeah. So if I was going to prioritize, I would do the EverFi first. Once I have that in, then I would do the quiz. Then I would do the project, because the project you have another week because it was due the next week. So you still have one more week to get the zombie project in. Whereas the 9.2 quiz and EverFi, those are closing here in just a couple days. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop recording because we don't need to just sit here in silence for 20 minutes, but stay in the meet because of attendance and stuff. And for anybody watching this back, I know I'm going to be out on Thursday and stuff. So you know where to find the review sheets. You don't need to do 10, 11, just put on there, do not complete. And again, take that remaining time in class to get in one of those missing assignments if you're missing them. Anything 9.2, I will not reopen it. So using those times that are provided to you, especially when it's during class, get that in. Okay. And then let me know if you have any questions.